is Vesper Moore. I use they, them pronouns, they, it pronouns. And I got involved with MindFreedom really first as someone who really admired the work of MindFreedom, continue to admire the work of MindFreedom. And what MindFreedom's done the last 30 years in terms of psych survivors and the disability rights movement. More largely, the dedication to nonviolent revolution as we understand it. It's so important that we understand how we can free ourselves from the idea of carceral systems. And when I talk about carceral systems, what I mean are systems that seek to incarcerate people, regardless of whether or not you might find some of these systems and spaces helpful, that we understand that certain oppressed communities have been impacted by them, right? Talking about Black and Brown communities, talking about Indigenous communities like myself, my communities. And I think something that's wonderful about MindFreedom is in its mission to really bring public awareness, campaign for change and human rights in many different spaces, really advocating for folks with disabilities, disabled folk, and psychiatric survivors more largely. By giving to the SHIELD campaign, our movements are able to maintain on our own terms the type of liberatory services we are seeking. SHIELD is a liberatory service. It is inherently a form of work that is done collectively and in community. I mean, I think by having your support, by having, our movement support these efforts, we are able to go to inherently biased and prejudiced institutions and actually advocate on our own behalf, independently, as we are interdependent and supporting each other. We don't have to turn to these institutions and do it on their terms. With your support, that is something that is so important and needed. I think as folks think about whether or not they would donate to SHIELD, I would say, if you care about the issues of psychiatric survivors, if you care about the oppression of Black and Brown Indigenous people of color in many institutions historically in the United States and across the world, if you care about the pathologization of trans people, gay folk, queer folk at large, you are intrinsically tied to SHIELD and MindFreedom's mission. There is a need for community solidarity there, and recognizing that by supporting this effort, you are sustaining the liberation of our people.